لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك الملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك.
محمد نبينا بنور هدينا محمد.
The federal government will continue to provide all the needed support to ensure that Nigerian pilgrims leave the shores of Nigeria safely, go to Saudi Arabia and perform their Hajj successfully, and come back with Hajj Mabrur.
Nigerian pilgrims are back home after successfully performing the 2018 Hajj. The credit for this, no doubt, goes to the federal government and particularly the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, for ensuring that all plans were executed diligently in the course of the Hajj exercise. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, commenced preparations for the 2018 Hajj soon after that of the 2017. The commission constituted a high-powered committee headed by the Nigerian Consul General to Saudi Arabia, Ambassador Mohammed Sani Yunusa. The committee was tasked to commence negotiations directly with property owners to secure accommodation for Nigerian pilgrims in the Markaziyya area in Medina ahead of the 2018 Hajj.
Ensure that we secure and maintain the accommodation we used in 2017 Hajj against 2018, and if possible get a reduction of the rate if possible.
Various committees whose roles are central to the operations of Hajj were constituted and inaugurated by NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed. These committees are Feeding, National Medical Team, National Media Team, National Ulama Team and Aviation. Others are Security Committee, National Reception Committee among others.
Ensure that people get value for their money. Appropriate reconciliation of all record of transaction made, identify all challenges and solve them there and then. There is no post-mortem issue.
Thereafter, the Commission organized workshops for members of these committees on how to discharge their responsibilities successfully. This was followed by pre-Hajj visits to Saudi Arabia, which were undertaken in phases. The visits afforded NAHCON and state officials the opportunity to inspect and see firsthand the state of apartments, kitchens, amongst other things. The idea was to ensure that standards are met in making the choices. During subsequent visits, the Commission signed various contracts with service providers having been satisfied that they have all that are needed for the comfort of Nigerian pilgrims. Furthermore, while securing these services, NAHCON ensured that prices were reduced, and that invariably led to the reduction in the 2018 Hajj fare compared to 2017. One major feature of the 2018 Hajj was the biometric data capturing introduced by Saudi government, which made it mandatory for all pilgrims to be captured before the issuance of visa. The exercise was, however, not without some challenges. These include inadequate centers across the country. The intervention by President Muhammadu Buhari saw the establishment of more centers in addition to other concessions by Saudi authorities. Preparatory to the commencement of the airlift operations, NAHCON embarked on awareness campaign in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country to update officials and pilgrims on the new policies introduced by Saudi Arabia. These include the new 5% VAT on goods and services, the 2,000 Saudi riyals to be paid by those repeating the Hajj, and many more. There were also other things pilgrims needed to know. These include Hadaya payments to be done through Jaiz Bank and the announcement of the final Hajj phases by states after obtaining approval from NAHCON. Few days to the commencement of the 2018 Hajj airlift, an advanced team of officials was dispatched to Medina and Mecca to receive pilgrims arriving for the Hajj. Shortly before their departure from Abuja, NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed urged them to work harmoniously for the benefit of pilgrims.
They should work to make this country proud, and they should work diligently to serve Nigerian pilgrims to the best of their ability.
Satisfied with all arrangements made, NAHCON began the airlift of Nigerian pilgrims to Saudi Arabia. This was on Saturday, the 21st of July 2018, with nearly 500 pilgrims and officials from Kogi State.
Nigerian pilgrims going to Hajj.
President Muhammadu Buhari, represented by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Musa Bello, inaugurated the maiden flights. He congratulated them for being among those who got the opportunity to perform the Hajj and urged them to pray for Nigeria as well as be good ambassadors of their country.
All the arrangements that have been done by Nigeria, by the National Hajj Commission, as well as the government and all its agencies of Saudi Arabia are all done for you. So it is very important that all of you should take maximum benefit of this opportunity of a lifetime for you to go to Hajj in a very peaceful and orderly manner.
President Muhammadu Buhari appreciated stakeholders for the preparations to facilitate the airlift.
I have been briefed of all the arrangements done by the National Hajj Commission as well as all the state pilgrim welfare boards to ensure that you have a successful Hajj. And I want to congratulate the Executive Chairman of the National Hajj Commission and all his able commissioners and staff for a job well done.
NAHCON Chairman Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed was full of praise for President Buhari's intervention in solving the challenges related to the biometric capturing introduced by the Saudi government.
Mr. President, sir, this year's Hajj comes with a lot of innovation. Among the innovation introduced by the Saudi government is the biometric capturing. At the beginning, everybody was apprehensive because of the location that have been designated, which will not cover the entire pilgrims within a reasonable time frame. But sir, you recall, with the intervention of Mr. President, via a letter to King Salman of Saudi Arabia, requesting for special consideration for Nigeria to create more additional centers for the biometric capturing. That apprehension and fear by Nigerians over the biometric capturing.
He tasked officials to be proactive and ensure that pilgrims get value for their money.
On our part, as officials of this very important assignment, we'll continue to do our best to ensure that our pilgrims get the best and get value for their money.
Other stakeholders at the event appreciated NAHCON for making all the necessary arrangements for a successful airlift operation.
Everything is going smoothly.
The pilgrims themselves were impressed with the arrangements made.
It is wonderful. It is pleasant. At least for the first time, the preparation was done okay. We don't have any delay. The passport, the visa, everything was out on time.
In fact, from yesterday that we have been here, we have been enjoying. There has been no problem with us. So all of us here, we are moving. Everything are moving. There's no rule. There's no anything like facility.
They are working perfectly. All their work are very perfectly, and we are okay by that. We are okay.
On arrival at Medina Airport, the pilgrims were received by the National Reception Team and welcomed by the officials of the Nigerian High Mission in Saudi Arabia, led by Ambassador Isa Dudu.
Allah to allow you to perform this, your ibadah. And may Allah the Almighty answer that.
With this development, other departure centers across the country started the airlift of pilgrims. At the end of the inbound exercise, NAHCON airlifted nearly 60,000 registered pilgrims in over 100 flights. Out of that figure, 18,000 were airlifted by tour operators. The airliners engaged by NAHCON for the exercise were Max Airlines, Medview Airlines and FlyNAS Airlines. The success of the airlift was attributed to the many measures put in place by NAHCON, which allows only companies with capacity in aviation to participate in the exercise.
Plans the Commission put in place started a long time ago. First of all, by giving opportunity to those that are capable and have the equipment and readiness and operational wherewithal to participate in the airlift operation. And that contract was signed with them and their allocations accordingly made, and then they went ahead and obtained the facilities and put them infrastructure on ground, and alhamdulillah they have materialized positively, and today we are almost celebrating the success of the total airlift of Nigerians back to Nigeria after having performed the 2018 Hajj accordingly.
Added to this was the support of all stakeholders in the aviation industry and the compliance with flight guidelines by the airliners. Medina being the first port of call for Nigerian pilgrims, they were accommodated in 4 to 5-star hotels in Markaziyya area. The hotels there were close to the Prophet's Mosque.
We accommodate our pilgrims there in the last 3 years. This is the 3rd year. And in the hotels, there are 3-star, 4-star and 5-star hotels. So far we have been operating on we have been accommodating on 3 and 4-star hotels. Markaziyya, all our hotels, less than 5 to 10 minutes, you reach Haram. In fact, less than 10 minutes. Let me put it in general. There is one that even if after Iqama you can get your prayer.
Apart from providing Nigerian pilgrims with the best accommodation, the stay in Markaziyya addressed the problems of road accidents and trekking long distances to Haram. These were common problems experienced in the past. The hotels were carefully chosen, and officials ensured that they had good facilities such as toilets, dining hall, water dispensers, refrigerators, television sets. There were also provisions for internet and intercom systems, among others. Members of the accommodation committee also helped in guiding pilgrims on how to take advantage of these facilities. There were other arrangements on how the rooms were allocated to pilgrims.
We on our part have prepared accommodation cards ready for the arrival of the pilgrims, so far to fast track the allocation of the rooms for the pilgrims. Distribution of the rooms is based on the number of beds in each room to ensure that every pilgrim has a bed to himself or herself. And we make sure that females are being considered to be on the lower floor while the male are being on the upper floor.
The pilgrims bear their minds on the issue of accommodation.
On the issue of accommodation, let me say it's okay. It's okay. To me, it's okay.
The accommodation is very, very okay. What they told us before was maybe 7 in a room, but now we are saying 4 and we are enjoying ourselves.
Within a second, 2 seconds, I'm already there. So I don't want to say that it's close or it's not close. Within a second, 2-3 seconds, I'm already at Haram. As at 2 o'clock last night, I just walked down there to pray my tahajjud. So it's very close, just beside.
In Mecca, where the states are responsible for the accommodation of pilgrims, NAHCON also ensured that the pilgrims were kept near the Haram and the hotels have necessary facilities for the comfort of pilgrims. While NAHCON was responsible for the feeding of pilgrims in Medina, the states took care of feeding the pilgrims in Mecca. Measures were taken to provide balanced diets.
We made sure the test is equivalent to the geopolitical zone the pilgrim came from, even from Nigeria. Not only that, there are also add-ons. We make sure that in the morning you add yogurt, you add some fruits, you also add water. We quantified it 60 liters, 60 centiliters.
NAHCON officials took time to inspect the companies responsible for cooking the food to ensure compliance with contractual agreements. In the process, the officials checked the quality and quantity of the food, expiry date of the products used in making the meals, among others. In the event of any breach of these, NAHCON took the necessary steps to remedy the situation. On health matters, all the necessary arrangements were made to take care of pilgrims, particularly at primary health care level. Clinics were set up in Medina and Mecca by NAHCON to ensure effective health care delivery.
In Medina, there is one main clinic which is situated in the headquarters of the NAHCON. And then there are outreaches in the pilgrims concentration areas of accommodation. This year, we had to operate 3 outreaches in Medina because most of the Nigerian pilgrims this year, like last year, had the opportunity to go through Medina before coming to Mecca. And while in Mecca, the clinics are 5. But by the standard, by the regulations of the Saudi authorities, it is only 1 clinic that is being registered, but you are free, the country is free to establish outreaches or other subsidiary centers.
These clinics were sited close to where pilgrims reside to allow for easy access to medical care. Al-Hijra Clinic in Masfala district is one of such.
Hijra Clinic is strategically located in the Masfala district of Makkah. It is at the center of many pilgrim accommodations in Makkah, and so it is readily accessible to all the pilgrims around, and so because of that we have large volume of pilgrims coming in from different pilgrim accommodations to seek medical attention. So we anticipated this large turnout, and we've put in place certain provisions that will help to alleviate the overcrowding, because we see between 450 to 500 patients per day. This is a very large patient turnout, even in the most busy outpatient department in Nigeria or anywhere in the world.
NAHCON stocked the clinics with sufficient drugs.
From this side, we have a lot of anti-malarial preparations, and we have a lot of antibiotics that we came in from Nigeria, and also a lot of some drugs that have to do with the ulcer preparations. Drugs for hypertension, and as you can quickly take you through, these are drugs that really are very, very important. In hypertension, we have about 6 different groups or types of antihypertensive drugs that we are using at the moment, and they are so broad in terms of their action that most of the needs of our hypertensive patients that are elderly is being catered for.
Attention was particularly given to common African diseases such as malaria.
As you can see on the left side, at the moment as I'm speaking to you, we have over 12,000 packs, meaning that if 12,000 pilgrims we don't pray fall sick of malaria, we have adequate drugs to be able to address their needs. Apart from the oral medication for anti-malaria, we also came with 2 very important injectable anti-malarials, and this has helped us to really address especially those pilgrims that really present with high level of fever, where they can be able to take the oral. So as far as anti-malarials are concerned, we are very comfortable.
Ambulances were provided for movement of patients to hospitals, whenever there was the need to do so. The use of computers for data generation and storage, known as electronic medical record, helped a great deal in upgrading the work of the medical personnel. Efficient coordination of pilgrims' movement was another factor that ensured the success of the 2018 Hajj. The movement involved transporting pilgrims from Medina to Mecca, or Mecca to Medina as the case may be. When the core Hajj rites got underway, pilgrims were transported to Mina, Arafat and Muzdalifah. And when coming back to Nigeria, they were similarly conveyed to Jeddah.
Generally, transportation, is part of the arrangement, because without the transportation, there will be no movement. As such, is one of the key issues that before the beginning of the Hajj operation, you have to arrange.
These arrangements, including many more, helps Nigerian pilgrims to perform the Hajj rites comfortably. While at Arafat, a session for national prayer was held for peace and the economic prosperity in Nigeria. The prayers were offered by Islamic scholars from different ethnic groups such as Kanuri, Fulfulde and Ogoni.
The hearts of our leaders to what will bring blessings to our country. Or Allah, turn the hearts of our politicians to what will bring blessings to our country.
The pre- and post-Arafat meetings offered NAHCON and other stakeholders the opportunity to take stock of all arrangements put in place towards organizing a successful Hajj for Nigerian pilgrims. 2018 was no different. Key stakeholders at the post-Arafat meeting include executive secretaries and directors of state pilgrims welfare boards, agencies of commissions, members of the National Assembly, ulama, as well as store operators, among others. Some of the issues discussed at the meeting were tent arrangements at Arafat and Muna, Turaduddiya and Jamrat arrangements, pilgrims' enlightenment and Hadaya, feeding and medical matters, and the homebound airlift of pilgrims, and so on.
On the day of Arafat, these are all Niger pilgrims. These are my men, moving them, setting drip for them within the tent and moving them into the ambulances and taking them to the hospitals. We treated all of them despite what happened in the Niger tents.
In the course of the 2018 Hajj, the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, activated the complaints management system and helplines for the handling of emergency cases such as incidences of missing pilgrims or loss of property.
As soon as a pilgrim arrives in either Jeddah or Medina, they will be issued this card. This card contains the NAHCON helpline, which is 92-000-8251, and the website also is there. So you either use the website or you call the phone line. So if you call the phone line, any of our staff, they are available 24/7.
The airlift of Nigerian pilgrims back home started on Sunday the 2nd of September and ended on Monday the 24th of the same month with over 100 NAHCON officials. Before their departure from King Abdulaziz Airport in Jeddah, the chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Barrister Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed, was full of praises to the federal government and other stakeholders for their role in making the 2018 Hajj successful.
Our deep and sincere appreciation to our President and Commander-in-Chief, President Muhammadu Buhari, the Vice President, the leadership of the National Assembly, all the governors, the SGF, the traditional institutions, the ulama, the private tour operators, the state boards, and everybody, and indeed the staff of the Commission that play a vital role in ensuring the success of the exercise. We are also very grateful to the host government, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, their leadership, the Ministry of Hajj, and all the officials that officiate the affairs of Hajj in Saudi Arabia. We are grateful to all their government functionaries and ministries that contributed towards the success of the exercise.
While appreciating the conduct of the Nigerian pilgrims, the NAHCON chairman prayed for those who lost their lives in the course of the Hajj.
Thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all his mercies, for all his blessing, for his protection, that we have seen the end of the exercise smoothly and successfully. We pray may Allah answer our dua, forgive our sins. And for those that we have lost, we pray may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them Jannatul Firdaus. To our respected pilgrims, we thank them for everything. They have done wonderfully well.
For those who have any complaints or suggestions on services rendered during the 2018 Hajj or Umrah operations, NAHCON welcomes such. The observation should be in written form and addressed to the chairman of the commission. With the successful completion of the 2018 Hajj, preparations for the 2019 have begun earnestly.
لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك